This is our Forex blog for May 2nd, 2014, and these are our currency indexes, which in my opinion is one of the easiest ways of trading because it lets you see visually what each individual currency is doing. You can see the dollar is pretty much trending above its hourly moving average, and then it breaks out here obviously at 8:30 when the news came out. But you want to buy a strong currency or one that's above its hourly versus one that's weak. And so most of today, the euro trended down, and you knew that ahead of time, and you can be focusing on sales. Here's our currency index, 5 pips per bar range chart, which this is an internal use one that shows me a wealth of information, including which pattern gets hit, so that if it shows up a bogus signal, I can put in code that fixes it. We have about 150 different signals in our Forex Signals, but one of the new ones that we just put in is a trend line, which analyzes this trend line here, and as you can see, perfectly plots where it is in the future, and allows us now for the first time ever. I just put this in today, along with my partner's help in doing this, and also shows the angle, 54 degrees down, 30 degrees down, 17 degrees up because it's positive. This is a totally flat line at 0. So not only is this going to revolutionize how we do our signals in the future and improve the accuracy and find trades like this that we couldn't really find any other way, because we don't know what the trend line is until today. We know what the previous swing high is, we know what the swing high above that is, but we don't know to buy this, at 38.23 versus 30. That's 7 pips earlier entry, and as you can see, our trailing stop does a good job. Initially it has a wider stop, as you can see, and then it starts to tighten it super tight and get you out pretty much right at the end of the move. So anyway, again, this is internal use only. You're not going to have all these trend line dots or seeing the actual trend patterns. One of the new things I put in this week is actually showcasing the probability of the trade with the size of the triangle. You'll see some of the triangles are much higher probability, and they're going to be thicker. The lower probability ones are smaller. Doesn't mean that you won't make, in this case, 30 or 40 pips on the trade. It just means it's less likely to be a profitable trade. This is a pretty high probability trade right here, which did go up, but it pretty much maybe lost 2 pips. Just because it's just the probability of the trade actually going your way, not how many pips you're going to make, which is impossible to predict. This is a very high probability trade that went down, and also went down a considerable amount. And so was this one. As you can see, the triangle is bigger. So we're continuing to enhance our signals, and we hope to release this over the weekend. You'll have the new signals. There's probably about 40 different, or I should say new patterns. But one of the better ways of trading is not only using our signals, but using this currency index. You can see which currencies are strong, which ones are weak. The pound, you can see, had a false breakout right here and then returned to its range. You can also see it broke down underneath the low here at around 6. So which currency was strong to sell the weak pound against? Well, the dollar was trending up. Sorry, you can hear my kids in the background. The dollar was pretty much going sideways, and it's above the hourly right here, but it's likely to go up because it is above the hourly. And you could at 6 be trading the pound down versus the dollar. You can see 6 o'clock and went down. You had a little bit of pullback right here and went down again. Let's just, to end today's quick blog post, let's just put up the FX Forex Signals. Oh, you know what? This isn't the new one. Hold on. It's not the one I've made about 40 changes this week too. So let's remove these Forex Signals. This is what I see. I can put up regular signals if I want. We'll put the pound dollar on here, and we'll add the signals to it, just with the regular arrows like you'll see when you have the software. Okay, well, apparently I didn't put code in there to prevent the trend lines from showing up, but you can see basically the signals that was occurring today. This one right here is kind of a loss. This one right here generated pretty decent profit. This one right here generated decent profit. This one right here had a very small profit. This one right here is a very small profit. This one right here, very small profit. This one right here, very small profit. We have a loss right here finally. It looks like we have a loss right here. And of course, it's getting after the normal trading time. And of course, you know, Friday afternoons tend to be a little slow. But what you can see from this is, you know, you also in the future will be able to find these trend line breaks right here, which are frequently very high probability trades. You know, there's so many different swings to use to calculate these trend lines. Right now, I'm just using the last two swing highs, which is what's drawing it in on off the low, the swing lows, which you can see is just absolutely spot on. But even more exciting is the ability of seeing the actual slope, the difference in angle, approximate angle. It's not perfect. It might be off, you know, 2 or 3% up, 2 or 3 degrees down. I mean, but you know, these are pretty high probability places to get into trades. And they also can be used once you have a slope projected off the high, for instance. You can take that same slope and project it off the lows. And frequently, not in this instance, but you'll hit it later on or it'll go underneath it. If it's down statistically too much, when it comes back above that trend line, you tend to get big moves. Now in this case, you got a very small move. In this case, you got a very big move off of that. But you can see that over and over again if you analyze trends. The steeper the slope, the more apt it is to find a reversal. For instance, this is a good example right here. That trend line. Yeah, I don't have the trend line actually marked. You can see it matches that pretty good. You duplicate that, you project it off the lows, and frequently that is a spot-on place to get into a trade. It doesn't mean the trade's going to go up 30 to 50 pips your way, but it's a pretty high probability place to buy. And having this technology is going to allow me to take that slope, plot it off the low, and look for buys at areas that, you know, some of the world's best traders, the ones that manage the most money and basically control the markets, these are areas where they're looking to buy and sell. Now, if it's above our, or in this case below our lower containment bands, and this happens, it's much more likely to be a profitable trade. And in fact, you know, I can just project a particular angle off of a low. Let's say 45 degrees is one of my favorite if I had to pick an angle. If you project that angle off the low and price breaks above it, usually that's, you know, as long as it stays above it, you want to be looking for buys. So you get a couple bar pullback after it, you can buy, which our other pattern found, and you also buy right here, and which led to this move up without getting into this trend line. So the reason the euro found a buy with a trend line break and this one didn't is because it wasn't very steep. I want to have at least a I would say minus 12 to minus 25 degree slope, and I also want it to hit underneath the lower containment bands, the 2.5 or 3.0 containment band before I would buy a trend line break like I did in the euro. This one did not have a trend line break, even though it did work. So anyway, lots of things coming soon. Our new signals with, like I said, close to 50 changes this week will be released hopefully over the weekend, and next week I'll put in another 30 to 50 changes and many additions to get rid of a lot of the losing trades using the trend lines off of different